Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. My name is Kunal, and I'm a senior architect for Modern Workplace at Microsoft APAC. Today, we're going to talk about Teams platform and Power Platform and how they are better together. How we provide a flexible work environment for citizen developers, for professional developers, as well as for end users to bring their application into Microsoft Teams. Not only just build and publish their application, but also on how they can manage their applications better inside Microsoft Teams. We're also going to look at some of the new capabilities that we've announced on the Teams platform side and some of the new capabilities that we've announced on the Power Platform side that brings together this cohesive experience between the two platforms. Lastly, we're also going to cover Return to Workplace, a solution built by our Power Platform team, which enables businesses to reopen with confidence and provide a secure workspace for their employees. So without much delay, let's get started. So we've seen an evolving usage of Microsoft Teams. Initially, when Teams was being rolled out, it was considered to be a Skype for Business upgrade, with key workloads like chat, meetings, callings, and collaboration capabilities coming into Microsoft Teams. Eventually, over the past 1.5 to 2 years, we've seen an increased usage of the platform capabilities of Microsoft Teams. We are working in a diverse workforce environment where different people have different tools or productivity tools of their own choice that they want to work with in their day-to-day activities. How do we bring those tools together into a single collaborative hub which can increase productivity and efficiency of the employees? Companies are also leveraging on the app capabilities of Teams to actually run their projects within Teams itself. We are also looking at a lot of companies who are actually streamlining their business processes as well, leveraging onto the Power Platform capabilities. We're also looking at lots and lots of companies who are actually automating their repeated workflows, especially in the environment that we are working on right now, which is absolutely remote, right? There are a few people who are going to the office, but majority of us are staying back home. And for us, it becomes even more imperative to have a single place to cater to all our application needs. And that is what is the beauty behind Microsoft Teams. So this is testament to the number of people who've actually started to use Microsoft Teams. Now we've seen a threefold rise in number of people who started to use Microsoft Teams. There are already about 80 million daily active users, or approximately 80 million daily active Teams users. Now, this is testament to the capability and to the maturity of the Teams platform that is being adopted by organizations. 93 of the top 500 or top 100 Fortune companies are actually leveraging on the Teams platform to cover these capabilities. Now, one thing that I want to land in this session is that Teams platform is not a separate entity. Teams is a platform. Teams is a platform that provides you communication by calling meetings, live events, collaboration by bringing in Office 365, co-authoring, collaborating together in a single platform, extensibility, which is the focus of today's session, where we are going to talk about how extensible Microsoft Teams platform is, and of course security, which is built into Microsoft Teams. When we look at applications, we're looking at applications from in three different buckets or three different categories, as I like to put it. One is, of course, the existing Microsoft applications that every one of you is currently using, which are part of your Office 365 subscription. You know, your OneNote, your OneDrive, your SharePoint, your Excel, your PowerPoint, your Word documents. All of these are natively integrated into Microsoft Teams. The second level of applications is where we work with our partner ecosystem to develop applications that enhance the productivity and enhance the overall collaboration of the organization. Now, when we started off Microsoft Teams, we had close to about 56 or 57 plus applications inside the Teams App Store. Now, if we look at the application, or now if we look at the App Store, the number of applications is almost 600 plus. Divided into different segments: education, IT, project management, collaboration, healthcare, and so on and so forth. Now, where it gets even more interesting is when we talk about custom-based applications. Now, these custom-based applications can be brought into Microsoft Teams with different ways or different segments. You have end users who've created some low-code, no-code application. They have a customized dashboard. They've created an automated workflow which makes it simple, or which simplifies their day-to-day task. How do we bring all of those into Microsoft Teams? These are the custom-built solutions that are actually natively integrated through the Power Platform and are brought into Microsoft Teams. When we look at app templates, this is where Microsoft goes in and provides you with some sample application templates. Now, these sample app templates are fully customizable. They come with a set of instructions and source code so that you can change, modify to suit according to your organization's security needs or your end user requirements as well. Where it gets even more interesting is when you're trying to build an application from scratch. How do you make sure that your application is coming into life? How do you make sure that you're actually talking or making sure that the usage of your application is being shown correctly onto the Teams platform and is being utilized in the right way by the end user? It's very important. Which kind of brings me to how we actually bring a solution to life or bring an application to life. Now, this is where we leverage on to multiple interfaces that are actually provided for your application to come to life. I'm sure you've gone through all of this, but just to re-emphasize and just to reiterate the fact, we've different options through which an application actually comes to life. Now, we're talking about tabs. Consider tab as a canvas board. A canvas board where you can bring your entire application or maybe a subset of your application into Microsoft Teams. Consider bots. We are all familiar with bots, with what bots are. Adaptive cards. How do you make sure that the message that you're trying to send to an end user, or to another user is in an easily digestible format for him? If he's asking for some information, how do you make sure that information is not disjointed or is not lost between messages? So sending information in a type of an adaptive card makes it even more easier for an end user to understand. Message extensions gives you the capability to bring your application into a conversation where they can take actions with your application from an instant messaging or from a chat or from a team itself. Task modules, notifications, so on and so forth. So there are a lot of interfaces through which an application is actually coming to life. From a backend perspective, for us, it's pretty straightforward. No matter if you're building an application onto Azure framework, bot framework, you're building an application through SPFX, you're building an application on the Teams platform or App Studio, you're building an application through Power Apps or Power Platform, it doesn't matter to us because from a capability standpoint perspective, you still have the same set of interfaces through which you bring your application to life. Teams has been that hub that is bringing applications to life, and that is testament to the fact the innovations that we are doing on the Teams platform side. Now, when we're talking about innovations, let's look at some of the key innovations or some of the key announcements that we've made in the past month and a half. So let's get started and let's look at some of the key capabilities. Now, at Microsoft Build, we announced Microsoft Teams Toolkit. Now, Microsoft Teams Toolkit provides you everything that you need to develop your application inside Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. Microsoft Teams Toolkit is now generally available for Visual Studio Code. It is also available in public preview for Visual Studio. Now, let's take a look at how this looks like in a real-world scenario. So when we're actually trying to build an application through Visual Studio Code, we start off by creating a new application. In this specific example, the application name is Employee Pulse, and we're trying to create an application which has the capability of extending tabs into my application. From a tab perspective, I'll choose it to be a personal tab in this specific example. As soon as I click on Finish, I get a set of instructions on the right-hand side of my screen. Now, these set of instructions provide me everything that I need to know to install the application. Having the right set of instructions make it easier for developers to actually develop, fast-track their applications into Microsoft Teams. Once deployed, once we run the application or once we run the deployed package, the Microsoft Teams interface gives me an option to add the application that I just created into Microsoft Teams. Now, all of that within less than 5 minutes that I can create a personal tab. Of course, when you go into more nitty-gritties around bots, around extensions, the time taken would obviously increase, and you may have to play with your manifest files as well to make sure that you're replicating all your extensions and all your customizations into those manifest files as well. The second announcement that I wanted to talk about with you was around single sign-on. Now, single sign-on in Teams tabs is now generally available. earlier, when you used to sign into any application or any tab into Microsoft Teams, you had to log in again on that specific application, which was not necessarily, a great experience for an end user. With single sign-on, you're instantly signed in. You don't have to log in again, and you don't have to worry about your applications on mobile as well, because it works absolutely fine on the mobiles. We're also coming soon. We're launching features around bots and extensions as well, the same single sign-on capabilities. Now, in this specific example, this bot is trying to access my calendar information. When I have a conversation with the bot sends me a message to grant or to access permissions to check my calendar. This is a one-time thing that I need to do to grant permissions. However, if you see the UI right now, I don't see the permissions in my messaging format as well. When I start having a conversation with the bot and I try to, switch browsers and move to another machine, the application still remembers my preferences and it can continue without having any need to ask me for any access to access my calendar. So that is the simplification that we are coming up as well. So these features are coming up on bots and extensions as well. Let's look at one other key announcement that we made as well. We're pleased to announce, the general availability for granular permissions for Microsoft Teams Graph APIs. In the past, when you're actually trying to leverage onto, the Teams application, or when you're actually creating a Teams application, all or most of the Graph API require two very powerful permissions: group read all and group read write all, basically giving them everything that they need to do within an application. So supposedly, if the job of my application is just to send a message, I'm looking at giving permissions, or I'm looking at permissions in which I can make changes to a team, do channel settings, and do even delete a team as well. So this led us to think about, how we can make sure that we can introduce some of the granular permissions that can be really used by your application. So we've created around 24 custom granular permissions for your APIs. Now, when I'm talking about group read write all, what I'm giving my application is access across all the teams in my organization and all the capabilities or all the things that are included in that team, whether it's a team membership, team name, names, channel membership, installed application. So everything, every access is given to that application. From an IT admin perspective, this becomes a nightmare because it's very hard to manage access to all of these applications and making sure it's secure as well. What we've done with granular permissions is that we can now drill down the permissions to a single row. So in this specific example, you're seeing that the application will have access only to the channel names across your organization. Now, this is granular, but this is not, this definitely narrows down from what we are providing in read write all, but it still requires admin consent or admin access to actually roll out your application within your organization, because it needs to talk to all the teams, right? So that can only be done through an admin consent. What we are bringing now in dev preview is a resource specific consent. What this resource specific consent does, you can narrow down the scope even further by giving the application access to only a specific channel inside a team or only to a specific team as well. I, being a team owner, if I need to install an application, I don't really need to go down and ask admin for access to install that application into Microsoft Teams. As a team owner, I will have access to approve or disapprove those or privileges to approve or disapprove that application. And my members inside the team will have access to that application as well. So let's take a look at how this looks like. So in this specific example, we are looking at Zscaler, an application built by our partners, a partner ecosystem. Now, in this specific example, if you look at the permissions over here, it doesn't really define what permissions and what information it would like to leverage on. It just gives me a central, overview of what we are trying to do here. When I try to sign in onto Microsoft Teams, it gives me an access that, hey, you need admin approval. This is not really for your team. You're organizing for your entire organization. With resource-specific consent, though, if you look at the permissions that the application asks for, is specific to the specific team only. It can only read the names and description and setting of this team's channel only. That makes it easier for an IT admin to actually develop and deploy its solutions. As soon as we add this, the application gets loaded and we sign in to get the application up and running. So that's the ease that this granular permission, which is available in Dev Preview, provides. Now, we've spoken a lot about the application capability. Let's look at how we are actually managing these applications inside the platforms. When we're looking at platform management, we're actually looking at managing applications or providing or giving the IT admins those simple customizations that they can actually leverage on. So in this specific example, we're talking about the Praise application. Now, generally, organizations will have to add their own custom badges and make sure that some basic customization of the application is done without having to actually go to redevelop the application and to reinstall and republish the application. So keeping those things in mind, we are giving access to IT admins to do simple customizations of applications inside Microsoft Teams. This, as we speak, is rolling out, maybe a couple of weeks actually, to roll out it across the globe. Now let's look at another angle. This feature is coming soon as well. Now this is called as streamlining your transactability. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to give the capability of actually purchasing an application right from the Teams admin center. So this gives the ability for an IT admin to make sure that the Teams admin center becomes the central hub for him to manage his applications, the users, the voice piece, the meeting pieces, the policies, the devices, and everything else. So when you're actually looking at to manage an application, you can actually see a list of licenses that are available for your reference. There are some licenses which are purchased. In this example, we are taking an example of Zoho CRM. So when I click on purchase licenses, it takes me to a page. You will not be able to see that right now in your admin center, but this feature is coming out soon. I click on purchase now and it takes me to the app source from where I can change my plan or select a new plan if I feel that this plan doesn't really suit my requirements. I can also define number of users that I want this licensing for and place the order, as simple as that. It centralizes the way IT admins can actually purchase and deploy the applications. This page also takes me to the Zoho CRM website to configure and deploy and roll out my application as well. Now, once you've done all of this, once you've purchased and activated your solution, we are also looking at how it looks like from an IT admin perspective. You get to know the date you've purchased. You get to know the number of licenses that you have purchased for. If you want to purchase again, you can do that as well. But now you also see the option which confirms your purchase as well. So that's what is coming soon as well. We are expecting this feature to be launched in the next couple of months as well. One thing that we announced maybe like a couple of days ago is the way in which applications are submitted to Microsoft Teams. Now, when we are looking at new submissions or when we are looking at different platforms through which we are submitting applications, now these platforms are actually, different platforms coming in. You have App Studio, you have Visual Studio, you're creating applications on a Teams client, on Power Apps, on SharePoint framework. Now, all of these APIs or all of these, application or platforms are creating applications for Teams and are submitting it, leveraging onto the new App Submission API, which makes it simpler from an IT admin perspective to approve or disapprove or to manage those applications that are coming into the admin center. You have a set of team who's really good at Visual Studio Code and wants to publish an application from there. You can definitely do that. You have an application or you have end users who are creating their Power or their custom or their low code, no code applications using Power Apps and they want to submit the application from there. Definitely they can leverage that and they can leverage it using the App Submission API. From an IT admin perspective, how it looks like from an IT admin is that as soon as the application is submitted, I'll of course get a notification. I get to know who's the person who's submitted, what is the date, what is the version, what are the things over there from a package perspective. If I want to access the package, if I want to make sure that I need to block or approve or reject the application, the IT admin gets everything done through the GUI on the Teams admin center, making it really easy for it to publish the applications. If you're currently using the Teams App Store to publish or manage the applications, you understand the process is pretty much manual, which takes a lot of time to approve and actually launch an application and roll it out in an organization. So we are making sure that these tasks are simplified from an IT management perspective as well. All right, so let's look at another key announcement that we made when we are talking about meeting room extensibility. Now, this meeting room extensibility provides developers to actually, they're now able to design, how their team's application uses the app panel, which will be on the right-hand side of the screen. They can build experiences, by leveraging and integrating tools such as adaptive cards, HTML, and other platform capabilities to bring their application for the users to interact with. Again, from a developer standpoint perspective, developers can also configure how their applications will behave based on the persona of the person who's attending the meeting. If he's an organizer, he'll have a different view. If he's a attendee, he'll have a different view, so on and so forth. The applications themselves will be visible from the meetings toolbar, as you see on the right over here, right? So applications will be visible right here on the toolbar itself. Another thing that we installed, or that is coming soon, is what I call as content bubbles or information bubbles about your application. Imagine this, that you're having a Teams meeting where almost 300 people in the Teams meeting. You're setting off some polls, you're setting off some information that you want answers with. So this content bubble will actually make sure that it notifies you of what's happening on your side of things as well. So if you're asking me in a live poll as to what is the view, what is the consent, what is the sentiment of the audience, I can get those views as well based on the application capability as well. So this is a huge play for partners to come in and build their applications and integrate it with the Teams meeting extensibility as well. We've spoken a lot about Microsoft Teams platform capabilities. Now let's look at another section of the session for today. We're going to talk about Power Platform improvements that we've made. Now, these Power Platform improvements have been announced in the last few months on how we've made sure that Power Platform is integrating with Teams in a better way. Now, I'm sure everyone in the room has actually heard about what DataFlex is all about. And there's been a lot of announcements around DataFlex. So let me take a moment to explain what Microsoft DataFlex is and how it can be used. I'll also talk about what are the announcements that we made. So Microsoft DataFlex is a built-in low-code data platform available exclusively from Microsoft Teams. Consider this as a subset of the capabilities of the data platform or the common data services that you were getting in Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. It serves as a relational database given to you at no extra cost to build your Teams Canvas or Teams model-driven application as well. Now, all of that is embedded within Microsoft Teams. So when we talk about make.powerapps.com, the Power Apps Maker, the Power Virtual Agents Maker, all of these things are embedded into Microsoft Teams itself. Now, this gives ability to every Teams user, no matter which plan you are on. If you're on a Business Premium, Business Essential, Enterprise plans, it gives you ability to create or leverage onto Microsoft DataFlex as well. So when we look at the announcements that were made, right, there were two folds of the announcements. One was about rebranding and the other one was about a new offering. So when we talk about rebranding, we are rebranding the way, how we had Common Data Service till maybe like a week before. Common Data Service for Dynamics 365 and Power Platform is called DataFlex Pro. It has all the premium connectors that you require to make sure your applications are going in. The features, the functionalities, everything remains exactly the same. The licensing structure as well is pretty much based on a per app, per user, per month model, the same model, and per user per month for unlimited applications as well. The same model is right now available on Dynamics 365 and Power Platform as well. So nothing changes from a licensing perspective, nothing changes from a feature perspective. It's just that we rebranded CDS into DataFlex Pro. The new offering that we announced was what DataFlex is all about. Now, this is a simplified and a lightweight version of Common Data Services exclusively for Microsoft Teams. It gives users the ability to actually create applications and create a low-code, no-code bots from within Microsoft Teams itself. And as I said before, it's included for free within your existing Teams licensing. Now, one thing that I want to emphasize here, and I'll keep on emphasizing over the next few slides as well, whatever applications that you're trying to build into your Teams infrastructure, leveraging onto the DataFlex, will only remain within the Teams infrastructure. For example, if you're trying to create a bot or an application using DataFlex inside Microsoft Teams, the application will only remain within the Teams environment for now. If you're wanting to integrate the Power Apps that you created onto a SharePoint site or onto your own website, you may not be able to do that with DataFlex for Teams. Let's take a look at how this looks like, because this feature is also coming soon. I think this will be coming this month. Fingers crossed. Let's hope for the best. So in this specific example, I'm trying to create an application using Power Apps DataFlex. So as you see, as soon as I click on create a new table, this new functionality enables me to create a table without having to leave Microsoft Teams. Earlier, when I used to create an application, and even if you try it right now, when you go into your Teams setup and when you try to launch Power Apps and when you try to create an application, it opens up make.powerapps.com or it opens up the maker on a separate browser. With the addition of Microsoft DataFlex, it brings together key business data at the fingertips of developers to quickly create an application and roll it out in an organization. Now you can modify, you can break, and you can fix your entire application and actually see how it looks like into the interface as well, so that you can make sure that your design principles are done properly. So once you've set up the application, you also get an ability to actually look at how you can publish the application into Microsoft Teams. So when you click at publish your application to Microsoft Teams, you get an application to view it in Microsoft Teams. When you click on view application in Microsoft Teams, you get to see your Power application inside added as a tab. In case you're happy, you're good to go, but in case you have issues with the application and you don't really like what you see on the canvas board, you always have an option to edit the same application within Microsoft Teams as well. Now you can go ahead, edit the application, make the necessary changes, and publish it to Teams directly from the build or from the Power Apps Maker as well. So that is the granularity, and that is the amount of integration which is absolutely mind-blowing that Microsoft Teams and Power Apps is providing you to create applications on the go, especially in the environment that we are living in today. Building low-code solutions with Power Virtual Agents. Now again, in this specific example as well, we bought the builder inside Microsoft Teams. Now Teams user can now build an application and deploy custom chatbots for Teams users without any developer experience required at all. These are all transactional, these are all conversation topics connected with logic. If then else statements are pretty much what we've been growing with, right? So the same concept, the same logic applies around this. Anyone can create a low-code, no-code bot as well. All right, so this brings me towards the end of my session. In this topic, we're going to talk about return to the workplace. Now, this is a solution that our Power Platform team built in a matter of days to actually enable businesses to start reopening with confidence, providing them with all the data points that they require to actually build their solution, empowering their employees to return to their workplace with security in mind. Now, over the past few months, you've seen that we've built some applications using the Power Platform. And these applications are built with the customers, keeping their needs in mind, keeping their real-life user experience and their real-life requirements in mind. And these applications are not built in months, but they are built in days. Now, if you look at the applications, we started off by building an employee crisis communication app. Now, this application was built to empower organizations and employees to take, to manage their employees and to send information and alerts, and also empower employees to inform their management from where they're working and what's their status. We then we launched a healthcare bot in India, which empowers the government and the citizens to get information about the COVID-19 pandemic and how it's spreading. What are the nearest available hospitals, and what is the availability of those hospitals as well. We also looked at a lot of tracking applications that we've built that is being used by government authorities and public infrastructures and hospitals as well. So keeping all these things in mind, we've also, focused our way on how we are actually leveraging onto this Power Platform. Building these applications actually gave us enough experience to understand the ability and the agility of the Power Platform and how we can bring this to take informed decisions at a much quicker pace. When we look at experience, when we look at building these applications, the experience that we got from building these applications also included for us to understand how we can manage capacity for a specific facility, how we can track a disease. From a Power BI perspective, how we can have situational awareness dashboards that can be shared across within an organization. So keeping all these things in mind, we created, or Microsoft created, a return to workplace solution, which empowers key decision makers that are required, that are taking decisions to reopen their businesses with confidence, the ability to get data insights as well. So in any return to work solution, we need to address key stakeholders, the key stakeholders who are responsible to actually open their businesses. Now, these key stakeholders can either be decision makers, executive leaders, or your task force management. Maybe their responsibility is just to reopen businesses and to make sure that facilities are safe. From a facilities and location manager's perspective, their main job will be to ensure that the facilities are safe for their employees to come back. We also have employees, of course, for obvious reasons. They need to know which facility is open. Where can they get a day pass to come in and work from the office? How can they make sure that which building is open and which building is closed? So all that information we've brought together into this return to workplace solution. So let me just give you a brief glimpse around how it looks like. So when we're talking about a return to work solution, it compiles everything that we need according to the different stakeholders that we've identified. When I talk about everything, I talk about from a facility and locations manager's perspective, I need to know a track of all the locations that are open. What are the current pandemic situation in those regions? How can I access information, or how can I have reporting from external sources to bring into my application and take those informed decisions to make sure whether to reopen or whether to keep my location closed as well. From an employee perspective, we've created a Canvas application that I'm going to showcase as well that enables you to get the information from an employee perspective through the application. From an executive standpoint perspective, a dashboard that gives them an overview of what their entire location or systems at in a very high level looks like. They of course have an ability to actually drill down into the capabilities of those dashboards as well. So let me just pull out my demo here, how this looks like. Right, so from a facility standpoint perspective, right, I'm looking at the facility safety management that we've built on top of the Power Platform team. Now, this solution setup actually provides me with solution settings that I can cater to. The solution settings which I can completely customize by changing my company name. For the employee app setting that I'll be showcasing to you, what do you want your employees to showcase as part of your general agreement, terms and agreement, or what do you want to ask the employees before they come in? This is like a self-declaration that you get even in the airports as well. From a master data perspective, you get a list of countries and you get a list of facilities that you have opened with. Now, this application comes with the sample data. This sample data is, of course, easily customizable. You can import the data for all your facilities types from an Excel sheet as well. From a facility groups perspective, from a facility types perspective, we do have different facilities that you can add or by default are provided in the application. From a readiness category perspective, what is the readiness status that you need to define? You can also define your own readiness status if you want. There are some sample applications that are available for you to leverage onto as well. Now, when it comes to employees, it gives you a list of employees as well, which are synchronized from the Active Directory as well, the location and the default location that you've selected or the employee has selected to work from, gives you an ability and an idea of from which facility the employee is actually trying to log in. When you talk about reopening in phases, we also provide you on some guidance as to how you can plan to reopen your business units as well. We provide 5 different phases. Of course, as the name suggests, one is closed when you're planning and when is there an initial return, and what is the new normal that you're going to bring in when you go into the application. So all of that is part of the sample solution as well. Now let's take a look at how it looks like from an employee perspective. So from an employee perspective, I get an option to actually look at the employee return canvas application. This is all part of the setup through which we can actually create or set this up right from scratch. There is a huge set of documentations that make it even simpler for you to deploy this. It takes less than 60 minutes to deploy this into your environment as well. Now, from a customization standpoint perspective, of course, you can take your own good time to make sure all your needs when you're trying to roll it out. Now, from a past perspective, if I need to look at the workplace status, I can look at the workplace default member of. I even have an ability to actually go in and look at other workplaces if I need to go in and see what is the status of those workforces here. So supposedly I take Sydney as the example workforce, and I go back and I click on my Get Day Pass. It comes up with the health survey. Now, this is exactly what you saw in the solution setup on the dynamic dashboard as well. I take the health survey. This can obviously be absolutely customized to get your company name, get your health survey, your terms and conditions, and your privacy policies and everything else as well. I click on Accept, and then this is the self-declaration that you find in airports as well. So it's self-declaration that defines on what access you've had in the last 14 days, and if you're having excessive cough or something like that. So all of that is included in it. I click on agree and my pass is generated. As and when I go into the building, if someone comes in or if the security comes in and asks for my pass, I can just simply click on the application and showcase my pass to the organization. Now, you can of course change the number of hours that the pass is issued with. All of that is of course customizable. Now let's look at a leadership view from a leadership perspective as to how the Power BI dashboard looks like. So if leaders are coming in and looking at a very high level, trying to understand the number of COVID cases that are being there in the facility location as well. So you get an idea from the source that we are pulling the application from. So WHO, USA Facts, the Bing COVID tracker that we built, and of course you can also add your own sources as well. Now this gives me an option to look at the number of new COVID cases per day in the environment where my locations are. You can obviously customize this based on your requirements, on your needs as well. Again, from a facility standpoint perspective, once you have a facility that you need to look at a glance, you can get the list of number of facilities that you're part of. You can even drill down based on the specific country or a specific region that you're looking out for and what it showcases as part of the checklist readiness and stuff like that. It also gives you a view of number of passes generated as well. Of course, from a demo purposes, I've not really generated any pass, but it does give you an idea of how many people are actually going to come into the India side and how many passes have been generated at a very high level from a leadership perspective to get a view of that. It also gives you an average sentiment. So if you remember here, when I'm clicking on applying a pass, I do get an option to provide my user sentiments here. If I'm positive to come back to work, if it's neutral, or if I'm not too sure to come back to work, I can define those sentiments that can actually be tracked by the health and wellness being officers as well to make sure that they are taking informed decisions. All right, so this in a nutshell was a pretty small demo of Return to Workplace. We are going to organize, webinars around Return to Workplace as we speak. They're going to be much more detailed and much more in-depth, giving you guidance step by step as to how these things work. So with that, I pretty much come towards the end of my session. We'll be here to answer all your questions and concerns. Please remember to continue watching these webinar series. My peers, my colleagues will be having their own specific topics that they'll be talking about. Last but not the least, I wanted to leave you with a set of resources that will be very important for you to take your journey into this low-code, no-code, and Teams platform journey as well. So you get a set of documentations that are required. Of course, there are additional resources that makes it even more easier for you to understand the ability of Teams and Power Platform together. It also gives you, enough customer references as well that you can refer to understand how these things are actually being used by customers in real time. You can take inspirations from them and you can have those custom stories modified to suit your organization's need as well. I'm also leaving you with a set of instructions that talk about the Teams app dev story. How you can actually leverage onto the Teams app dev training to increase your skill set from a beginner level to an advanced level as well. With that, I pretty much come to the end of my session. Thank you so much for joining today's session. It was really great presenting to you. I hope you stay safe. Goodbye.